Ma'am, she said forever. And it's not looking like forever yet, okay? Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. It is your girl Morgan Blue and my baby
Justice.
Defining Justice. The poet, the best poet in the world.
You better know it.
My
Don't hype me up. Stop it.
the
Stop
finest
hyping me
stud
up.
out here.
I'm blushing,
Period.
man.
Mine, though. Just remember
Absolutely.
that. Mine.
Forever.
And she's been mine. Speaking of forever. And she's been mine for 6 years.
6.5 years.
And some change, baby. And some change.
6.5 years. No, it's exactly 6.5 years.
Is it?
6.5 years. Because February, March, April, May, June.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's 5. Oh, it's over 6.5. Yeah, you're right. 6.5 and some change.
That's crazy.
Dang.
That's insane. Anyways, y'all, we hope you're doing well. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And thank you for tuning into us today. We, like we said in that video that we just released, are going to do a whole bunch of new videos with real topics. We're going to be vulnerable, transparent, and everything. So as you can tell by the title, your girl is...
That's the wrong hint.
Oh, no, this is the right... Baby.
I don't even know. That's
baby.
crazy. That's how disconnected. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. So on that note,
yeah,
story of our life as a couple. Taylor wanted to sit down and talk about 6.5 years and some change of a relationship and
what we can do. Being intentional about our relationship. Are we intentionally? I do have like one big question for you.
What's that?
That I do want to jump into, but as you guys can see by the title, we just said we're going to talk about our life together, not just individually, because I think Justice is going to talk about her life individually when she wants to pop in on some videos, and like I'm going to talk about my life individually as well.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Taylor wants a ring, and I want to give it to her, but it's been 6.5 years, and that is a hot topic, right? People don't say
I was trying to soften it up.
People don't stay in a relationship this long without a ring at our age, right? So
especially not lesbians.
Yes. Lesbians be moving real quick. I'm 29. Recently turned 29. She recently turned 30. We've been together since 22 and 23, and people are asking. They put pressure on us in every space. Where is the ring? And they look at me like, "What are you doing?" And Taylor looks at me like, "What are you doing?" And so she wants us to be very honest about this stage of our relationship.
For sure.
So what was your question?
I think my question is, do you think that we are intentionally dating?
Are we intentionally dating? At this stage, absolutely. Absolutely. Not even a question. I was going to ask, what do you mean by intentionally dating? Just on
dating for marriage.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, we are. I think that's without a question. I think that's been the case for me. Probably, I wouldn't say since the beginning, because early 20s are just weird like that. And we were just not at that stage. As a part of the reason why 6 years... this length of time, we went through so many different like growth periods and changes in life stages, etc., etc. But I would say around that, like when we got back together, because we were broken up, you can see the previous videos as to why I put all my business out there, and she was able to respond to that. But yes, once we got back together, it was no question like this is what we're in this for. We're getting married. Yeah. What would you say? Do you think we're doing a good job at intentionally dating?
Yeah, I do. I think that we've overcome a lot of trials and error, or
trial and error.
Yeah. I think we've overcome a lot of obstacles. That's a better word. And I think we're doing our best. Now, no, I don't think we're doing our best so much. I do think that we have some room to improve as far as like going to investing in ourselves and investing in therapy and investing in a routine for our relationship and things of that nature. But I do think that we are overall, I know for one, I am intentionally dating, and I think that you are definitely intentionally dating me at this point of our lives. And I think you have been since moving here. That was a big fear for me. That was a big fear for me coming back into our relationship, and like Justice said, our previous stuff, you can go and watch that. But moving together after just getting back together, that was a huge thing for me, because I was like, I'm literally moving across the world with this girl, and all I know is New York, and I need to know that this girl is my wife.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, like, I prayed. Me and Justice got into a huge argument in early years of our relationship. It had to be like, you were still living in Pennsylvania, and I left your house and I went and I walked around in your the townhouse area, and I literally was just praying to God. And this is when I like really started getting into my faith, because she helped me get into my faith. And I was walking around the park, and there was this little trail, and I was just like, God, I just need an answer, because if I need to leave this girl right now, like, let my heart be okay.
What was the argument about?
I really don't even know. I think it was like you like reaching out to like an ex or something, or something of that nature. And it just like, it really like just hurt me, because I was like, what the heck? Because it was so early on into our relationship. But nonetheless, like, we all make mistakes, so don't.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
No, it's okay. But I prayed to God in that moment, and it was the most warming sensation that like I've ever felt. Like, it was like God, I literally heard God.
Wow. And
it was just like it was just like a release of like, let go, like, it's okay, like, she is the one. She is like, and I've never.
You got.
Like, I literally.
Put it down for me.
Yeah, and like, Justice always asked me like, babe, why me? Why do you stay? Why would you stay if you feel this way? Why do you stay if you think this? Or why do you? And it's really, it's beyond me, right?
Wow,
and so like,
it's beyond you.
It is beyond me, and so I know for a fact that we're so big, and everybody else sees it, and that doesn't matter. It's about like what we feel and things, and we've been going through it. Like, we definitely are at the stage of like 7 years is the year of completion, right? And so we're approaching that year of completion, and I fully hope that it's not the year of, well, I know that it's not the year of completion for our relationship. It's the year of completion for the toxicity, the season,
you better preach.
Right?
Come on.
Right? And so like, that's how I feel. That's genuinely deep down in my heart. Like, that's I said, it's beyond me.
That's
like,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And I just realized too. Wait, because we got together in 2017. We broke up in 2020. That's 3 years. It is now. We got back together in 2021, and it's.
We were only broken up for 6 months, so we still consider us together.
You know, we're about almost at the same, like, we broke up at the half point of our relationship. You realize that? It just hit me that we 3 years previously, 3 years now, and I do think that's a great way to break it down. Like, the 3 years before was learning who we were as individuals. I knew I was just like, probably a year fully out.
Yeah.
That's one.
She was green.
A year in my masculinity, like embracing that side of me, comfortability of it. And, you know, someone told me, an ex, by the way, I said, it's like you moved to the East Coast and realized you were cute. You were cute. And so, what does it mean to have all this attention on me and all these women that I have access to? And then you graduating school, trying to navigate careers, moving out of home for the first time, all these things, figuring out who you were as an individual, because you arguably were a relationship person.
Yeah.
You were always in a relationship. Then we break up. We realize it's ghetto out here in the streets without each other. Let's be quite frank. Now we're back together, and the years of building intentionally. So then you work out, okay, now that other people and other bad habits are out the way, we can focus on things like communication and what does our spiritual health look like? What does our mental health look like? What does moving across the country together and for the first time not knowing anyone in the place that we live in together, like, it's like, okay, are you really ready for marriage, right? And so I think that, like, all right, I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you,
Such a transition. All right, I have a question.
I know. Are you embarrassed to tell, wow, my accent came out crazy.
Embarrassed.
Are you embarrassed to say that you've been in a relationship for 6.5 years and you don't have a ring? Woo! I think you should turn because the camera all I see is that black hair.
I like looking at you.
I know, baby.
Am I embarrassed? No. I don't necessarily think that I'm embarrassed. Now,
you're not embarrassed.
Okay. For myself, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Externally, when it comes to people, this is going to come off really harsh, but y'all know I'm from Brooklyn and I'm from New York, and I really don't care how I come off to certain people. But I don't really give two flying F's about what other people got to say.
That's really one thing that you do really well. You do not.
I do not care.
Yeah,
because y'all aren't in my relationship. Y'all don't know what we're planning for. You don't know that Justice literally drops anything for me. Like, you don't know that, right? So when people sit there and say, like, what? Like, you've been with her for da-da-da-da. You know, like, I just be like, watch your mouth. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. But internally, I have moments of, I question because I'm like, you know what we've been through just as much as I know what we've been through. And I'm like, dang, this girl still ain't get me a ring and I'm a rider. Justice,
I got you a bag, though.
She got me a bag.
Some shoes, some
right.
apartment, some furniture.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
No.
So, but the thing is, you know, like, the ring means it solidifies. It's like that. It's just like, if I'm walking outside, you know, no guy, like, he gonna be like, oh, you married? And I'm like, yes.
For sure.
But yeah, so to answer your question, I don't care what other people think. Now, granted, it used to bother me. Like, it used to be like oh yeah, I know, like, whatever, you know? But, like, really, on the real, like, internally, it affects me a little more because I'm just like, dang, you know, like, if we get into arguments, and, like, you say something, you know, like, along the lines of, like, well, I don't know if this argument, you know, like, we might not get married, or you say something, because Justice is quick with her tongue, vulnerability. Justice is quick with her tongue. She's a poet.
And great at the same time. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, to answer your question, it doesn't bother me externally, but internally, sometimes it's like it's a trigger, because, like, I'm just like, dang. But also, like, I really could care less about the ring. I care more about your heart. Ooh. I'm happy that your mind has changed to, like, match your heart and your intentions. It overall, it matters for your intentions to match, right? Like, you need to no longer be a cheater, which you're not. She hasn't. You need to, like, no longer be tempted, which I know there's gonna be temptation, and child, we live in California. There's temptation, and we need to do a video about that.
Yo!
Would y'all be down? Comment down below if y'all would be down for us to do a video about being in a relationship
in LA.
Being in a lesbian relationship in LA.
Ooh, we gonna have to run that back.
Yeah.
For sure.
I hope I answered your question.
You did, and I appreciate your answer, because sometimes y'all know how some femmes or women be. Well, femmes aren't women. Y'all know what I meant by that. Femmes, straight women, all these things. You know, if someone asks a question and they really want that, they look like, They look at you like the part of my dang, now it's a stranger and you against me. And this is awkward because I want to marry you. But it's like, I think we should normalize not asking people that question. Stop asking couples when they're going to do it, why hasn't it happened, because we don't know. Shoot, just because I'm married to this woman, just because she got a ring on her finger and I got a ring on mine, does not mean we are ready for marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just because we don't have those things doesn't mean we're not ready for marriage. So I do be in my head about it, if I'm honest, because it's like, it does make it feel like I don't love you enough for that, and that's nowhere near where my mindset is. I just want it to be, and it's going to happen. And we talk about it often. I'm very honest. At this point in our life, we're very honest and open about the timing and all these things. I'm gonna surprise her. She's gonna cry. It's gonna be great. But like for me, it's really important to get the foundation right, because I haven't really seen close up a healthy marriage. So for me, like, and let's talk about that, because you grew up with both your parents in the house, married for most of your life, right? And since you were how old?
Yeah, my stepdad came into my life, and I don't even call him a stepdad, so I don't even know why I said that, but my dad came into my life when I was 2.
Yeah.
I believe I was 2. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Been married, so your parents are celebrating how many?
They're celebrating 22 years of marriage this year in July.
So they were together like, what? Because you're 30, 22. So they got 5 years after they met.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been married, like, I think I was like,
they're celebrating 22, right?
22 or 20. I'm not sure, honestly. I think it's 20. I think it's 20. I think it's 20.
Okay.
Y'all,
Okay,
girl math.
so they got married when you were 9.
Yes.
Or, no, 10.
Yes.
10.
Yes,
10 years
that's
old.
correct.
Damn, you were that old. I didn't know you were 10.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was in like 4th grade or 3rd grade.
I thought you were way younger than that.
Mm-hmm.
But still 20 years of like never seeing her parents argue
Yeah.
these things. I, on the other hand, had teenage parents. My dad was married multiple times. My mom finally got married to my stepdad. Love them to death. They're still together. But it wasn't the most healthy process. My grandmother was not married in my lifetime. She was, she was a big influence in my life. So it was like, and then I had some extended, like, I had some cousins that I was close to that I've seen getting married. I had some aunts and uncles. However, I never aspired to those things. It wasn't shown to me in a way that's like, oh yeah, when this happens for me, like, my desire was like, I was very career driven. That's all I thought about. So for someone like this, like me, who's been exposed to not the most healthy way to love within a couple or within a relationship, I was just like, you know what? I found you. Mm-hmm. I love you. I like what we have, and like, I hope it leads somewhere. Mm. That was my thought process. I hope it leads somewhere. I just want to be happy. Even though that emotion is fleeting, I want to overall feel that way, and so the idea of marriage is real to me. I still wanted to do that because obviously faith-wise, that was like a monogamous marriage, blah, blah, blah. That's going to happen. However, it just, to me, was like, I gotta know for certain, I gotta know that we can grow together, that we can change our minds together, that we could financially handle life together, that our values are aligned.
You're a realist and very logical.
I'm a very logical person. And financially, what does that look like when we both have debt? Yeah. Well, some more than others.
Not too much.
Well, it's all from
NYU
master's degree. That's a flex.
That is
it's gonna be forgiven. So it's like we join debt.
Right.
Everything, like, it's to me, the marriage kind of is the business plan for the love that should already be in place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, are we ready to start a business together?
Yeah.
It's also more of a spiritual thing too, right? Committing
to
each other and vowing to each other to be together and love each other unconditionally in all circumstances is a beautiful thing. So I'm not going to undermine it by saying it's just business. However, I do think you got to have patience with someone. If you love them and willing to go through life with them, sometimes it takes a little bit of patience for that other person to be ready for that step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I think we do very well, you speaking for that, because like I just said, Justice is the logical one and the realist. I'm typically, which they say is good, like, we balance each other, but they also say, like, sometimes you have to live, you have to be a little delulu, like, just a little delulu. Like, because I like to live life, right? And like, I was just spoke on it or touched on it briefly, but I'll never say that I wasn't privileged in the way that I was raised, right? So like, I've always experienced relationships, and every woman in my life basically was married.
That's crazy, yeah.
Like, I mean,
that's crazy.
Maybe they weren't the happiest. Like, I mean, granted, like my great grandma, she's an old West Indian woman, so like she was an old West Indian woman. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about.
Hey, people in the Midwest don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so just they go off of their struggles, right? And so they embrace everyone, but love looks a little different.
Yeah,
love looks a little different,
true.
And it's like just very much tough love. And so my grandpa got that often, but to the core, you saw that they loved each other. And my grandpa would never say anything back to my grandma. He just, oh, Nurse, I love you. And that just meant the world to me. But like, also, like I said, going back to what I was saying, just the privilege in seeing, like, my parents never argued. I've never seen my dad yell at my mom yell at my dad, call each other out of their names or anything of that nature. So to be in a relationship, that's ultimately what I want, right? I want that love, but you also have to be real within your relationship and understand that, like, their relationship is not your relationship, and you also don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. Like Justice said the other day, you don't know if your grandma and your grandpa went in the room and just started yelling, at each other, or, like things like that. And so for us, ultimately, I'm just looking at our relationship as far as just being together. Like, we're together. So, like, a ring, just going back on your question, a ring just doesn't, it's not going to hold any, like, it's going to hold weight, of course. Like, I definitely want my ring, y'all.
It's going to hold weight. It's going to hold weight.
And it's going to be weighted, okay? But
it shouldn't define your
doesn't yes.
It should define your actions.
Right. That's good.
It shouldn't define your love. It should define your actions.
She's just coming out with a new poem right now.
Yeah.
This is how she does it.
And what do I mean by that? I simply just mean, like, I am loving you as my wife today. Mm-hmm. My actions in marriage has to be that of a wife. It has to be that of...
Yes.
It has to look different.
And that's why my ultimate question at the beginning was intentional loving.
Yeah.
Like, are we intentionally dating each other? Because no more in arguments, like saying, things
sure.
that,
For sure. We gotta, like,
lock in.
And it's a matter of, I think about your parents. You just said basically they were together 8 years before they were married.
Yeah.
And I think that, to me, like, I see people who get married after a year or two of knowing each other, and maybe they live a long, loving life. They're more than likely at that age, at the stage of meeting late in their 20s or early 30s. To me, and you see people who get married really, really young, and they change so much. Sometimes the partner doesn't always keep up, and they start arguing later on in their marriage. Kids are witnessing it. We're witnessing a divorce. I do think that, like, though we ain't gonna go a decade without being married. No. I'm going to put a ring on it quick. But what I do find confidence in is the fact that we've ironed out the creases. And of course, there's going to be these small nuances that come up that we might bicker about. But I think we're ironing out the creases. So our marriage is just... I saw this quote, I think, that said, make it difficult now, so when you get to the marriage, it's like, we chilling. I know what you look like at your lowest... It's your highest. I know what you look like when you're going through a financial struggle. I know what you look like when you're under pressure. I know what you look like when all these things happen. Yeah. There's no surprising.
Yeah.
There's no surprising me, bro. We're about to be, we about to laugh at them kids. Relaxing. Yeah. And just enjoying, like, each other without having to do the learning part. I mean, you're going to constantly be in a state of learning, but, like, the big stuff, man, we're going to have that out the way.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
For sure.
I agree.
The shit show.
I agree. Yeah, that feels good.
That feels great. And that's why I always be like, bro, like, yes, 6.5 years is a while. It's a while. We went through most of our 20s together.
Yeah.
But we went through most of our 20s together. I wrote a poem that said no one gets it right in their 20s, and we actually didn't get it right, but we got the ending correct, I think.
Yeah.
And so... to me, that's what
I ended my 20s with you.
You ended your 20s. You ended a decade with me. A whole decade with me. I love you for that. Appreciate you for keeping me around.
For sure. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I say don't get caught up in the time that you spent with someone. Get caught up in the effort that you put in and that person put in. Get caught up in the effort. Get caught up in the attention. Don't get caught up in the time. Time is... we define what time looks like for us. So don't get caught up on a time set, because nothing ever happens in the time that we want it to.
Yeah.
Ever. Not even nothing. Not even our wildest dreams. Our careers, our whatever. We can't plan this thing out. It's above us, So just go with it and be intentional about it and put forth the effort. It'll come. Yeah. Well, you...
stop asking people when they gonna get married.
Stop doing it. Stop asking people when they gonna get married, when they gonna have kids, what if they can't conceive? What if they don't believe in marriage? What if they're together?
Sorry, we feel some type of way about this.
We are triggered. I, for one, am triggered. We, for two, are triggered.
Facts.
But y'all gotta stop it, dog. Stop it, dog. I don't want to put you under the bus because I know you believe in it. Yeah. But I really don't want to answer like I don't believe in marriage and see what they do. See them tremble. and their westernized capitalistic definition of marriage, bro.
Oh gosh, we got her going. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and definitely hit that bell for the notifications. Thank you guys again. This is my baby, Defining Justice. Make sure y'all follow her on Instagram. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at Morgan Blue J. And make sure y'all follow me at Morgan Blue.
No, I'm just kidding. Morgan Blue.